Hi everyone, before I start this video, I just want to explain that I had to abandon the wear test throughout the day. So if you have tuned in to watch this video for a wear test, please don't send me hate messages. I had to abandon it due to very severe eye watering. But I carried on filming so that we could see how you could correct and go over the concealer. So you will hear about the concealer, you will see me applying it, and you will see how I corrected a very severe case of eye watering afterwards with it. But you will not see a very realistic view of how it wears throughout the day. So if you're tuning in for that, you probably need to go and see another review, and I'm really sorry about that. I will try and do something at a later stage, but I just thought let's carry on regardless and tell you about the concealer. Okay, so thanks for listening to this, and if you do want to stay watching, then please do so, and I hope you enjoy the video. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Now today, excuse the noise in the background, that's Jack playing on his game. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Estée Lauder Double Wear Instant Fix Concealer, which is brand new, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Now, what was really weird about this is I found out that this was coming out from a blog by Really. But when you go onto the Estee Lauder website and you click on New In, it's not there. You actually have to go and look for the concealer and then find it, which is really weird. You go on, there's nothing when you first go on their page, which is normally there when a new product comes out. It says new in or trending. Nothing. It's as though it's been out for years. It's really bizarre. So I don't know what you're doing, Estee Lauder, but I found that really weird. Anyway, this is brand new. And what is new about it? You probably know that Estee Lauder do a double wear concealer. What is new about this one is that there is a serum one side and there's a concealer the other. Now, I've always liked the concept of this. I liked it when Charlotte brought out her Beauty Light wand. But there was a couple of things that I don't like about the Beauty Light wand. One is that there isn't very much product in the entire wand. And so I often found out I was running out of concealer before the serum, and I think looking at Charlotte's, there was 3 mils of product for the entire wand for £29. I will double check that and make sure that I've got that right. Okay, I've looked now. Of course, I'm talking about the mini miracle eye wand, and yes, there are only a total of 3 mils of product in the entire wand for £29. Now, the Mini Miracle Eye Wand is supposed to have a brightening effect as well as just being a concealer. Although you can do that, I think, by getting a shade lighter. So, which I am getting in this, and you will see I'm getting in this. So, it does, this concealer does have considerably more in it. And also, it has more of the concealer than it does the serum, which would prevent you from running out of the concealer before the serum, which I think is really good. With the Estee Lauder, you have got, I'm going to just check the amounts for you. And what made me want to try this is that you have got 5 mils of the serum for your eyes, and then you have 7 mils of the concealer for £25. So I think that's a lot better value. Now, I made a mistake and ordered the wrong shade. I will say that the swatches on the website are not very helpful. So if, like me, you're used to getting a shade lighter in your concealer, what you do not want to do with this is go a shade lighter. I made that mistake and it was way too light. So in Estee Lauder foundations, I generally take a 3. So the Estee Lauder foundations are grouped in numbers and then by neutral, cool or warm. And I generally am about a 3 in Estee Lauder. So I have a foundation by them, which is 3W 1.5, which is called Fawn. So I stupidly thought, and looking at the swatches seemed to confirm it for me, that I needed to go a shade down for my concealer. And I purchased 2C to contrast, and it was way too light. So I reverted back and I thought I'm going to get 3 neutral, which is actually okay for me. So I can swatch you those 2 shades, which I will do. There are a total of 22 shades available in this concealer, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it says about the product. So on the box it says, for all skin types, prep, conceal, go, multitasking, 2-sided tool, prime with Hydra Prep for a hit of hydration to help smooth the dry lines. Reapply throughout the day to quickly reboot your look. 24-hour concealer is a flawless cover-up for spots, imperfections and more. Okay, so I will show you the 2 shades that I have on my hand. And then I'm going to put some Estee Lauder foundation and primer on and come back and apply it. And then I'm going to do a wear test throughout the day, because I then need to go out. So this one is Too Cool, which you can see was way too light for me, although I might use it as a brightener. So that is Too Cool. And that I ordered, which arrived this morning, is 3 Neutral, which is this shade here, which you can see is quite a bit darker and more yellow toned. Although it's called neutral, I do think it's quite a bit yellow toned for a neutral, but there you go. The cool tone's obviously a lot more pink toned, which I would expect, but this to me seems more warm than neutral. Tell me what you think. To me, it's got too much yellow in the background to be neutral. But there you have it. It works anyway under my eyes. So the moral of the story is, if you use Estee Lauder foundation, do not go a shade down for your concealer. Even if you want a brightening effect, stick with the same shade. Otherwise, you're going to get something that's too cool. Now, it may be if I'd got too warm, it might have been slightly better, but I still think it was too way out for too warm to have been a match. Now, I'm saying go the same shade if you want to put this under your eyes and get a brightening effect, because you'll see this is still a lot brighter. Now, if you want to actually use this on your face, you may want to go and just try out some swatches. I don't know if I'd got 3 warm whether that would have matched my face. I suspect it wouldn't, because it just looked a lot brighter, the neutral shade. So I suspect that 3 warm would still be a lot lighter than my skin tone, and I might need to go a shade up. So they've obviously made this for under eyes in terms of looking at the shades. So they're expecting you to want something brighter to go under your eyes. So if you want to match your skin tone on your face, you really need to look carefully at the swatches and possibly go in store to get a good match, even if you know your Estee Lauder foundation shade. Okay, so I'm going to get on and I'm going to put on some Double Wear Primer, which by Estee Lauder, the Flawless Hydrating Primer. And then I'm going to follow up with Double Wear Stay in Place, their normal Double Wear one, which is in 3W 1.5 shade Fawn. And I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And just to highlight what I was saying to you, that is my foundation, which is 3W 1.5. And that is my concealer in 3 Neutral. So there is a lot of difference. So you are definitely getting something lighter. Now, obviously, if it's neutral, it's going to look lighter because it hasn't got the warm yellow undertones in it. But it's not going to look that much lighter, in my opinion, anyway. So I would definitely stick within your own colour. And maybe if you've got a warm foundation, go for a neutral, like I've done. Go for a warm foundation and a neutral concealer to get the brightening effect. Okay, I've got this hair now stuck. Always happens, always annoys me, and I didn't even use a brush to put the foundation on. I don't know where these hairs appear after I've put foundation on, but they somehow always appear and annoy me before I set my foundation. Okay, so let's get going and put some of this foundation on. Oh, Ali, I mean, let's get going and put some of this concealer on. What am I like? So I have to go out, and I am going to be doing a wear test. So first of all, I'm going to brush on some of this Hydra Prep. Now, I love the idea of this. You'll have to excuse me, my skin decided to start peeling as I was rubbing my primer in. So I look like I'm molting. I like the idea of a serum because I do get very dry under my eyes, and the dryness makes them sore, and that makes them water even more, and it becomes a vicious circle. So I'm just going to press that now very lightly, dab, dab, dab. Now, from what they say, it appears that you can use this serum over the top of the concealer to refresh it throughout the day, which I like the sound of. And I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to set this with powder, or whether to set one eye with and leave the other one free. I think I might do that and see how it looks. So that is the Hydra Prep. That's the primer. I'm just going to give that a second to sink into the skin, and I'll be right back. Okay, we should now be ready, and I'm now going to put some of this concealer on. I have tried this out, and I would say it's very, very light, and it doesn't look like you're wearing concealer. I tried it out on no makeup skin, and I think that's the advantage. I wouldn't say that it's going to be really full coverage, but I think if you had really full coverage, then it wouldn't look as natural. Now I'm going to dab that in, instead of with my fingers, with a tiny little damp beauty blender that I have especially for the eyes. I found this the other day. I hadn't used it, and I've been using it ever since. It's quite handy. I just need to remember where I got it now so I can get some more. So I like that. I think it's looking good, and it's still looking very hydrated. Now it says you can use this everywhere. As it's a little bit lighter, I'm a little bit wary, but I'm going to put some on that there. And just bring it along a bit so that it looks like I'm highlighting the centre of my face. And then, can you see what I mean? You can still see some of my pigmentation popping through. But I think it's quite buildable, so let's just put a bit more. I know with the flat end of this, I'll just try and press it in. I think maybe if I got a darker shade for my face, it would be better, to be honest. And I'll put a little bit around my nose. think this is generally a little bit too light to use on my entire face, and I'm just going to blend that in with my fingers. Let me try that with my fingers instead of the beauty blender and see if it will cover it. It certainly feels very, very light. Yeah, I think that probably needs a bit of colour corrector underneath in order to conceal it completely. Let's try this little brown spot. Come on, hair, move out the way. Well, that's covered that pretty well. Okay, so next I'm going to set my face with some, I'm going to stick with Double Wear today. Set my face with some Estee Lauder Double Wear powder foundation. I'm just going to get that and I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm going to use the powder foundation to set my face, but I'm not going to use it to set under my eyes because then it will be too heavy. But I'm going to use Charlotte's Genius Magic Powder to set under one eye, and I'm going to leave the other one free so that you can see what it looks like with and without setting with powder. I always say that if you can get away without using powder, then it's better. So this is a way of testing, will it still remain on as well if you don't use powder? It's a good way to test it out. Now I'm using Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Powder Makeup in 3N1 Beige. Now the other one's warm, so this one neutralises some of the yellowness. Again, I've talked about this in loads of previous videos. If you keep going in with warm, you'll end up with too much of a yellow undertone. It's always good to do the opposite or neutralise if you're going over with a powder foundation. Unless I've got a really yellow undertone or a really cool pink undertone, then it's always good to balance it out. And I always knew that about concealer. And logically it makes sense, but I saw Pixie Woo talking about this a few months ago and I thought, oh yes. And without realising it, I'd bought powder in neutral and foundation in warm, so I kind of already done it, but without realizing that I was doing it. So that's the powder foundation. Now what that does is if you put powder foundation over Double Wear, it will just give you an extra layer of coverage, but it will also ensure that it lasts a long time. Now I'm just going to get Charlotte's Genius Magic Powder to set under my eyes. Okay, so with a setting brush from Real Techniques, I put a little bit of Charlotte's Genius Magic Powder into the lid, and I'm just tapping off the excess, and I'm going to powder this eye and I'm going to leave this one, so my right eye, but left as you're looking at me, I think. I'm going to get confused, but basically I'm going to say it's my right eye. If I say it's my right eye, then I will remember which one I did, because when you take photos it all suddenly switches round and it confuses me. So my right eye I'm going to powder, and I'm going to leave the left eye alone so that we can see what this concealer looks like with and without powder, and whether or not it makes a big difference if you apply powder to it or not. So you can see now, and also I'd be interested to see with the powder this claim about being able to put the serum over the top, whether that's going to work if you put powder on, or whether it's going to work better if you don't. So that's a good way to test it out. So yeah, I'll probably look a bit strange going out, but I don't think most people would notice whether or not one's set and one isn't. So I'm going to get on and do the rest of my makeup. I do have another concealer test coming up. I did think today about doing both of them at the same time, but I reached the conclusion, and I'll explain in the next one why I just didn't think it was fair, because they're two very different formulas and designed to go with different products. But another one that's coming up soon is the Trini London BFF Eye Cream. But today I'm just sticking with the Estee Lauder, and I've also got coming up a challenge where I've been asked to do a one pigment challenge. I haven't forgotten that. I may be a bit busy at the weekend, so I may not be able to put out too much at the weekend, but don't worry, I haven't forgotten those two videos. And also the other two requests that I've had, one is to do another tutorial using Stila eyeshadows, which I haven't forgotten either, and another one which I've had just this morning, which is to do a tutorial on the look that you are about to see in a short minute, because I put a picture up on Instagram yesterday of the finished look. Okay, but I'm now going to complete the rest of my makeup and be back, and then I'm going to check in with you throughout the day and show you what this concealer's looking like. Okay, and just like that, I'm back. Now, I could have done almost the one pigment challenge today, because I have the same thing on my eyes as I have on my cheeks, which is a Daniel Sandler Radiant Glow. I love it, and actually you can also use it as a finishing powder. So it's got 4 colours in it, which I used on my eyes. I also used some on my cheeks, but I also used some of his cream blush as a bronzer, just to make me a little bit more bronzed up. Excuse me a second. But you can also very lightly just brush this around the whole lot and just give yourself a little bit of a dusting to finish off your entire look, because it will just give you that radiant glow. Not too much though. Okay, so that is the concealer. That's the one with powder. And that's the one without powder. So I'm off out, going to get some shopping so that we can eat. And then I'll be back, and some tablets so that we don't all keel over. And then I'll be back and I will do a check-in later on. Okay. Hello. I think we can safely say all bets are off with this wear test today, because my eyes, I went out and my eyes streamed. Look at my eye makeup. It's held up pretty well, considering. And look at the foundation. That's double wear foundation. That's held up really well. So look, we can't really, it's not fair to do a wear test, because this was extraordinary eye-watering. Right, very extraordinary eye-watering. But what I am going to do is I'm going to see how, I'm going to imagine that I'm now out and about. And obviously I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I might have a little play with something. So I'm going to put some of this Hydra Prep under my eyes, because they are now completely dried out with saltwater tears, to get the moisture back into them and see how this layers. So that at least I can see whether it works as a kind of good touch-up. Now, they did say that you can put this on and it will revive your concealer. Well, I think the concealer needs a kiss of life. I don't know about revive, but let's just put this on first and see. Now, I have a little thought about that eye makeup, but I better not do that yet because I'm going to end up with eye makeup under my eyes, which is not a good look. Okay, so I've now revived under my eyes with moisture. What I've got an idea of is to use this serum to see if I can quickly move that eye makeup where it has completely come away. You can see that eye didn't water as much. And then just giving that chance to go a little bit tacky, I'm going to layer some more on. I'm not going to do another check-in because I think really I probably need to take this off and give my eyes a bit of a break. But I do want to see how this... Looking back at this video, I think I was putting too much on as well. So next time I try this, I'm going to put a lot less. Okay, because I don't think I needed as much as I was using. Could work as a... Oh dear, I'm in the ladies' toilets and or the bathroom, as you would say in America. And I've got to put this right. So I'm not using brushes for that reason. I'm pretending that I'm out and about and I need to do a rescue job after an eye-watering session. So you can see how double wear foundation is really good because my eyes were streaming down my face. But I do think it's unfair to judge a concealer based on the amount, or even the eye makeup, the amount that my eyes were watering. I could barely see out my eyes. So that's worked quite well as a touch-up. Obviously, I need to kind of blend it in a bit because it's not fitting in with my blusher. But I can do that. Now what I'm going to do, just to try this, is I'm going to take a bit of this Hydra Prep on my finger. This may or may not work. And I'm going to press it onto my eyelid where that eye makeup has dried up and mixed with my tears, and see if I can kind of revive it. So you can see I'm kind of using the serum to get some moisture back into the eyeshadow that's dried out and mixed with my tears. And then I'm trying to push it around to revive it. Well, it's not exactly the same as the other eye, but it's done a little bit of a correction job, but that's not what it was designed for. So that is the concealer. I'm sorry guys about the wear test. I'm going to have to do it another day when my eyes aren't as sensitive, but I will put this out because I think it's useful to see how it touches up a complete disaster going on with my face. And I'm going to get some, am I going to take this off? I think I'm going to take it all off and give my eyes a bit of a break. But thank you for watching this video. I do think that this is very good. I love the concept. My conclusion is I love the concept of the serum, and the serum has brought back moisture to my eyes where I've been watering. So I love the concept of this. I think the concealer is a very good concealer. If you're expecting really, really high coverage, you're not going to get that with this. I don't think it's as high as I would say Hydra is, but it's actually very buildable. So if I take a bit more and start building it up, it's very, very buildable and looks very natural on the skin. So if you're someone that's not necessarily in it for mega coverage, but you want something to look natural and moisturize under your eyes, I think this is a very good option. And I will do another wear test and feed back to you. I might not do another film, but I will feed back to you how it went, or perhaps put photographs in another video. So I'm just showing you how you can layer this up to give you even more coverage. Not bad, considering what I was looking like a minute ago. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please put them below. And I will keep you updated when my eyes have calmed down and are not quite so sensitive. They've been sensitive for the last couple of days, so going out was just the final straw. So thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.